Hello and welcome back to another video. In this particular video, I wanted to talk about why animals are way better than you are right now as a human being. As a human species, you are way worse than an animal. I wanted to contemplate on why human beings are so self-obsessed. Why are they destroying themselves? Why are they in this cycle of killing themselves or each other or killing ourselves by slowly poisoning us to death? Why are we not fighting a war against pollution? Why are we not fighting a war against the things that truly matter, which can make human beings in the long term way better? Why are we fighting wars that are unnecessary for reasons that are not sensible as a human being, as the collective of human species? So the first thing that I want to point out, the major difference in what a human being is and what an animal being is. What is the difference between us? And the first step to understand this is to understand knowledge. It is to understand abstraction and why this could be, just maybe, could be the difference that can bridge a gap and lead humans towards more content life, towards our countries being more peaceful among brothers and among sisters, and why we should follow this, why we should look into what is different from us as human beings and animals who seem to me are very much content with themselves, who are at very much ease with themselves, with their families, with their own species. Certainly, they are way better than us. So let us first look into the difference that I think is to look into anthropologically. And the first thing that I want to point out here is from the book Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari. It is famous and probably a lot of you may have heard about and read about. He talks about a cognitive mutation that had taken place 10,000 around 10,000 BC. Not really sure when exactly because history seems very minute in the whole larger spectrum of the life of Earth itself. But regardless, this cognitive mutation is what Yuval Noah Harari terms it. But there have been many other various philosophers who have talked about this special character that is present in human beings and not in animals. This character is self-awareness or cognitive functioning of a human being. It is so said also in the Bible or in the Semitic religions. We see the story of Adam eating the apple to gain self-awareness, to gain for the first time realizing that he or she is naked and alive. So this self-awareness could be the problem here, but this self-awareness is also what makes us grow into human beings. There is certainly a special quality in us, but there is also another quality in us that is actually misleading us, which is the ego or the too much attachment towards this self-awareness. The ego or The individual self, or the feeling of separateness, is what causes us to abstract more and more objects, like nationality, like religion, like race and color of your skin. All of these abstract concepts arise from the egoic self-awareness. The, the misconception or the false assumption that you are a separate individual, that you are different from everything else, different from your parents, different from your brothers and sisters, different from the people who look different from you, who speak a different language, who follow a different religion. These are all certainly abstract concepts. We do not see them in animals. There is certainly intelligence in animals, but they do not have the power of abstraction. They do not have the power of looking at a knife and measuring its sharpness and abstracting its sharpness so that we can compare with each other this abstract concept called sharpness. The Buddha explained it very well in a text called the Lankavatra Sutra, which I highly recommend you read. In this text, he explains the false assumption that arises from looking at a jar. A jar is a combination of labor-intensive work, a glass, material from the earth, and careful manipulation of this material, combining fire, blowing into this material, and then creating a jar out of it. We look at a jar though as it is a separate object. We do not look at the background of the jar. We do not look as, at the jar as if it is one with the energy that has been used to mold this jar into this state that it is in currently. Do not look at it as a transformation, as a product of past actions. Instead, we look at it as if it is an individual, as if it is a separate thing from the past actions. Similarly, we look at our lives as if we are currently now an individualistic ego, that we are separate from the environment that we are living in, that we are separate from everything that has molded us into what we call us now. This personality is based on false assumptions, the Buddha says, and looking at this false assumption, the illusion is made clear. So, the ego, the personality, seems to be a problem here. The self-awareness, which is unique to human beings, also seems to be a problem here. But is it really a problem? Now, if we look at the ego's desires, what it desires is to be in this world, even though it knows that it is going to eventually die one day. This person speaking to you right now is going to die one day, and the person who is listening to the video is going to die one day also. But the ego which perceives this video, which is recording this video, also thinks that and assumes that it must survive even after death. And so it does all these things to make itself be known, to leave a mark upon this world, thinking that it is going to be eternal, forgetting that It goes every night to sleep knowing that it is going into the unknown, knowing that it is not going to probably wake up the next morning. So, so this misconception, this false assumption is the basis upon which lies a lot of conflict in the world. And again, upon this false concept assumption lies concepts like nationality, like political ideas, like like the amount of money you earn, the company that you work in, and so on. You also tend to create societies around your ego, around your likeness and your dislikeness. You like to surround yourself with people that are like-minded, that have similar or similar likenesses or dislikenesses. So the problem with the eradication of the ego comes to to the point here, and which I'm going to talk about now. Now you see, the problem is the separate self, the separate egoic self, which considers that it is separate and does not look at life as if it is a constant web of connections. Instead, it sees life as if it is a singular point in this whole wide world, whole wide universe. When you look at life as if it is a connected, interconnected cobweb, you will start to not only discover things about yourself, but also things that happen in your social relationships, in the social dynamics that run into this governing of human beings. If you look at life from the perspective of oneness, and this is not merely an abstract concept again, oneness is to be seen as if it is prior to all abstraction, and it is prior to all abstractions. And so, when you recognize you are one with everything that the universe has to offer, life will slowly start to change. Your desires will slowly start to change. Your objectives will start to change. And that you will see the laws that cover this reality. The laws that are intricately connected with your psyche, with your social relationships, with everything that governs your life. There is a certain law that moves you, that moves forward, and gives fruit to your actions. What you would call an individual self right now is the jar that has been molded by by a person, by putting energy into it, by blowing into it, by molding it. And you will see reality as it is. You will see the ego as it is, and you will see the futility in the desires that you try to achieve. You'll see that the power you seek is futile. Governance is, of course, can be done without the seeking for power. Governance can be done through realizing that the laws are not merely constitutional, that the laws are eternal, that there are certain things, certain moral and ethical values that you must consider in your life. And this will not be an abstract concept, this will be a reality to you. You will see the laws in front of your eyes. You will see and predict human beings as easily as you predict yourself. So, so if you want to be more human, strive to know yourself, strive to raise your consciousness, and take advantage of this self-awareness that you have in this life. Of course, there is something special about you as a human being. Animals are not self-aware, they are not meta-cognitive, and so you must use this opportunity of self-awareness to understand what consciousness is, to understand what the truth is. So thank you for watching this video. If you like the video, I hope you click on the like button down below and subscribe to my channel if you really like the video. So thank you and bye bye.